From our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
King Island Dairy's new owners have vowed to keep local jobs and future-proof the company during a visit to the facility this morning. 2 Melbourne businessmen will spearhead the operation following its purchase from Canadian giant Saputo.
After months in limbo, the King Island Dairy's new owners have come to town, getting up close and personal with their newly acquired products for the first time since taking over the business.
We modelled it up, and with our experience we know that it can work well. It's a profitable business if it's run properly.
Both Nick and Graham have vast experience as entrepreneurs and are no strangers to the art of cheese making. The pair owns Olympus Cheese, while Nick also manages Garden City Plastics, one of the country's biggest manufacturers of gardening items.
The quality of the product really is important to us, and it fits well with what we do. We're not a high volume mass-produced product at Olympus, so we got strong synergies.
Promising to retain all the dairy's current workers, but staying tight-lipped on how much they bought it for. Among their first priorities, upgrading the century-old facility's ageing infrastructure.
Making sure that we've got backups of some of the critical infrastructure here that was here in the past but hasn't been replaced.
50 potential buyers put up their hand to purchase the factory before it was narrowed down to a short list of 6. Nick and Graham getting across the line. For the Premier, it's the perfect pairing.
I reckon what got them over the line was their belief in the brand, their belief in this community, and the good-hearted citizens that they are.
The state government chipping in around $10 million over 10 years to cover stamp duty and payroll tax relief, among other incentives, to help the business duo get started.
There is a lot to do, but I'm very confident that Graham and Nick will get the job done.
The new owners say that into the future, they're keen to expand on the dairy's eclectical range of cheeses and make their mark on the iconic brand, putting a spring in the step of King Island locals.
Oh man, I'm genuinely excited.
It's been great news actually. It's been, for the last probably 12 months, the island community's been a little bit down, but it's certainly got everyone out on the weekend. It's great news Friday.
Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Political donation transparency will be one of the big topics set to be debated when Parliament returns tomorrow. A Greens bill to lower the donations disclosure threshold to $1,000 and implement monthly reporting will be tabled in the Upper House. Cassie O'Connor says it will help hold major parties to account.
Tasmanians have a right to know who's donating how much to which political party and what quid pro quo is expected in return.
While Labor pushes back on government plans to sell off Tasmania's assets to save skyrocketing debt.
Jeremy Rockcliffe has broken our budget. He's put significant stress on our public services, and his only solution is to sell the assets that help pay for our schools and hospitals.
The Premier calling for all parties to cooperate to set Tasmania up for the future. And Tasmanians have spent the public holiday sweltering with temperatures in the early 30s. From the beach to barbecues to festivals, the autumn heatwave proving an unseasonal yet welcome treat for some.
The North Esk River proving the perfect place for a dip. Humans and animals alike making the most of one of the last feels like summer days.
So we just took the kids down here for a bit of a swim and let them cool off a bit.
Launceston reaching 33.4 today. This autumn swelters considered normal for Tasmania. The Bureau implementing just one severe heatwave warning for the west and northwest coasts.
So it started December, the first half of December. It's really part of almost spring-like conditions, and the first part of March is sort of the tail end of the summer really.
Hobart's highest temp today was 30, hundreds lapping up the sun at parks, on and by the beach.
I was just saying to Magdalena, I actually prefer it to Bondi.
I'm having a fun time at the beach with my friends and family.
And what have you been doing down here?
I've mostly been eating a sausage.
Yeah, we often come down here, play some beach cricket, have a barbie. The kids love the park, so it's one of the favourites.
Festivals across the state giving those enjoying the public holidays something else to check out.
I'm melting. Absolutely melting. She's a scorcher. Yeah.
The Bureau's predicting warmer temperatures for the remainder of the week before a cool front arrives on Sunday.
We'll have some warm days ahead of it through Friday and Saturday. And also some potential to bring significant rainfall to the west of Tasmania.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
There's some rare positive news for renters tonight. Prices aren't rising nearly as quickly as they were. The news isn't so good for low-income families, however. Availability of affordable properties in Tasmania is still the worst in the nation.
Bucking the trend, Tasmania is the only state to see rental affordability improve over the last 12 months, but it's still far from a renter's market.
Rents haven't increased as quickly in the past couple of years as they have in some other states. That's because Tasmania actually saw really strong growth in rents in the late 2010s before the pandemic, which meant it was already an unaffordable market.
REA Group's latest rental affordability report presents a mixed bag for Tasmania. Compared to a year ago, rents have risen by 5%, an improvement on previous years and better than the national average, but it still equates to an extra $1,000 a year the average household needs to find.
Renters are having to choose between keeping a roof over their head, putting food on their table and keeping the lights on at night.
Homes at the cheaper end of the scale are rising fastest. Households earning the median income can afford less than a fifth of advertised homes. The bottom 30% can afford almost none.
People who are working and they're still struggling to find affordable rentals. If median income households are struggling, it is of course putting enormous pressure at the lower end of the market.
Right now there are 77 three-bedroom properties available for $400 a week statewide. 33 of them are in Launceston, while just 8 can be found in the Greater Hobart area and only 1 in Greater Devonport.
Availability is very low. Vacancy rates are very low. It's very competitive to find a rental.
Overloading the social housing waitlist.
3 people every week who are reaching out to the government to say we can't afford to live in the private rental market, we need more social housing.
Nick Kelly, 7 Tasmania News.
Scouts Tasmania is marking its 60th anniversary of its annual regatta with the launch of a container deposit fundraising project, making it their mission to protect the environment through the collection of cans and plastic bottles.
Scouts Tasmania is showing a can-do attitude, showcasing its recycling rewards program.
They're keen to go. They're really raring. It's something that the kids just kind of feel naturally.
Dedicating hours collecting and sorting hundreds of cans and plastic bottles.
On the beach, sometimes during Clean Up Australia Day we'll go for a walk and we'll pick up some rubbish. Sometimes we'll just do it as a scout night.
Doing their bit to reduce waste and improve recycling outcomes within the community.
Well, there's so much stuff in landfills that can be reused, especially for resources that we are actually running out of.
Encouraging all locals to get on board by dropping off items in special recycle bins across the state.
People just don't realise how important recycling is. They think that not littering is the answer, but I think that recycling really is the key.
The initiative having an attractive reward every 10 cents from collected cans or bottles, helping Scouts raise vital funds for their programs.
Next year we want to go to Europe, so that's a lot of fundraising, that's a lot of money. And on Anzac Day we're hoping to be in Turkey for the Anzac Day parade there.
Those 10-cent donations will go a huge way forward for us to help the scout groups do their what we do best, which is give kids adventures.
Rebecca Gardinera, 7 Tasmania News.
An iconic Tasmanian truffle farm is celebrating after digging up a record find. The monster delicacy weighing in at more than 1 kilogram. But foodies wanting a piece of the pie will need to get in fast.
A tasty treat, supersized. 1.079 kilograms of the rare fungus found under the truffle farm's famous oak trees.
Very excited. Our previous record was 920 grams, and when I was digging this up, I thought we might be close here.
Teamwork making the dream work, with Anna's truffle dogs getting a helping hand. An eagle-eyed crew member pointing out a suspicious section of soil.
that he'd seen sort of a raised lump of soil and that we should probably go and check it out. So I went out there with the dogs and sure enough, each dog hit straight on that spot.
They're prized in kitchens around the world, but a find this big is incredibly rare. The farm's previous record stood for 5 years.
You can really get anything from the size of a 5-cent piece, but generally most common is sort of around that golf ball to tennis ball size.
Anna's grown up hunting black diamonds with her dad, Australia's first truffle farmer. Now she works with her 3 specially trained hunting dogs.
This is very much just a game and a happy place, so they always want to come out hunting, and I think they feed off my excitement as well, which helps.
The world record for biggest truffle ever found was 1.7 kilograms. But unearthing something that massive can have its challenges. You can't eat it fast enough.
So the shelf life on a truffle is generally about 14 days, so there wouldn't be many chefs that are keen to have a whole kilo one truffle.
And at $1.50 a gram, it'll take a special buyer for this massive morsel. Annie Green, 7 Tasmanian News.
Foodies have turned out in droves for the final day of the Taste of the Huon, the volunteer-run festival celebrating more than 3 decades of treating locals to southern Tasmania's best produce.
Despite the dry heat, the taste buds were wet for revellers enjoying food favourites at the Taste of Huon.
Potatoes on sticks.
Some Cajun calamari around the corner, some of their stuff, bao buns, and some oysters.
This year's lineup boasting 75 vendors, new and old producers on showcase.
Good combination, a good mix, so it's that traceability factor of following that producer from the paddock to the plate.
The event drawing in visitors from far and wide.
So good, this is the first time that we've attended before. We've come down from Sydney.
Serving up some of southern Tasmania's tasty delights and top drops, giving them vital exposure.
Now more than ever, we really do need this kind of event to really showcase what's happening and help people realise all the amazing stuff down here in the Huon.
Attendees also trying to shake off the heat with a cold one.
Been really good for selling sparkling and our whites and rosé in the hot weather, though some people still have ventured into the Shiraz.
And it wouldn't be a celebration of the apple aisle without Tassie's produce gem.
Juice is good, it's refreshing, it's helping the heat, definitely. Look, I think yesterday we sold about 400 cups of apple juice, and then plus bottles, so I don't know, we possibly had 1,000 people through our stall.
Seafood also proving popular.
Got to keep the local fishers in business, so yeah, spread the money around.
Now the painful 12-month wait until the Taste of the Huon makes its return. Rebecca Gardinera, 7 Tasmanian News.
Some of Tasmania's best chess players have spent the long weekend battling it out at the annual state championships. Competitors putting their minds to the test, with some games lasting up to 4 hours. The tournament witnessing its best turnout yet, thanks to an increasing number of children becoming involved.
We've been trying a lot to grow it from grassroots, so it's really good to see a lot of people showing up and growing our community.
The event has been running since 1924. Tony Award-winning musical Billy Elliott is just days away from hitting a Tasmanian stage for the first time. The long-awaited debut will be brought to life by 2 young stars ready to share their time in the spotlight.
From the boxing ring to ballet class and now the Princess Theatre stage. The story of Billy Elliott finally hits Launceston on Friday night.
Tasmania's waited a very long time for Billy Elliott, the musical, and I'm very, very proud of all the cast and crew.
The duo in charge of bringing Billy's journey to life, 13-year-old stage veteran Zeb.
It's felt amazing, and this is probably one of the biggest shows I will ever do.
And 12-year-old George, who only started dancing a year ago, learning his moves from some TV stars.
I learnt them off Dance Mums, from watching Dance Mums.
They might be splitting on-stage duties, but the show's message has shared meaning.
I feel like he's a lot like me. Like, I love dancing, but I didn't want to do it at first because I was scared what my friends would think of me.
And if little boys come and see, I hope that they get inspiration to go into the musical theatre and do all the arts.
The leading duo aren't the only double act.
So many talented people auditioned. It was really hard basically to get so many young talented people down to just 10 ballet girls, so we went with 20.
The young stars join a 56-strong cast, ready to share the triumph of a dream come true.
They have delivered not just a performance, but they've delivered a message, and that message is dreams matter.
Victoria Risto, 7 Tasmania News.
Taron Armstrong is on the board in the NBA G League, scoring his first points for new side Santa Cruz Warriors. Northwest product landing 10 points, including 2 3-pointers in his second game, as well as 4 assists. Meanwhile, Tassie's Micah Simpson didn't get to play in the decider, but she can still call herself a WNBL champion after Bendigo Spirit's 8-point win over Townsville, making it a clean sweep final series win. Chargers recruit Henry McKennie is slotting into his new team nicely. The former Ipswich forward from the NBL 1 North is confident he can draw on the expertise of coach Jared Weeks to take his game to the next level.
I could already tell the play style's a bit different, just the style of coaching, and like just the game is a bit different in the South, as I've heard. So excited to see how it'll go.
McKennie averaged 7.5 points per game for Ipswich last season.
Good evening. The mercury climbed to 30 in Hobart today. It was 33.5 to be exact in Launceston, the highest March temperature recorded there since 1980. Devonport 25 and 28 in Burnie. Ouse also managed 33, Grove 31, 30 at Friendly Beaches, Smith and Marai Island 29, 27 on the Bass Strait Islands and also at Strawn. Laiwini reached 26, 25 at Low Head and 18 in St Helens. Cloud is seen building about the west and south as a weak trough moved over the state. The remnants of ex-tropical cyclone Alfred continue over southeastern Queensland and northeastern New South Wales as a weak frontal band is moving across Tasmania. Tomorrow, the high shifts to the south of the state while the low is slowly approaching from the west. East-southeasterly winds up to 30 knots about the southwest and north. Southwesterly swells at 3 metres. A gale warning has been issued for the far northwest coast. There is also a strong wind warning for coastal waters between Stanley to St Helens Point and also between Tasman Island to Sandy Cape. Cloudy conditions tomorrow in Hobart and at Adventure Bay, 21, 23 and partly cloudy in Tarraleah. Partly cloudy too in Launceston, 26, cloudy in Devonport, 23, 25 and a bit of cloud too at Bridport. Burnie, cloudy, 21, much the same in Strawn, 25, a windy day in Marrawar with 23 there. Cloud extending also to the east, 20 for St Helens, Swansea 21 and 22 expected for Whitemark. Cooling down a little on Wednesday with showers and possible thunderstorms about the west, extending across the state throughout the day. Fine on Thursday, apart from showers about the west. Now they'll ease and contract to the southwest a little later. And on Friday, showers about the west, but mostly fine elsewhere. To our national forecast now for Tuesday, 33 and fine in Melbourne, partly cloudy in Adelaide, 30 degrees, and a couple of showers in Brisbane and also Cairns. And it's mostly clear across the state. Hobart 16, 26 in Launceston, very warm, and 22 at Devonport. And that's Monday's weather. Kim.
Okay, thanks very much, Kaya. That's all we have time for tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow at 6. But for now, good night.